Hi, welcome to Program Board's Virtual Paint Night. Tonight we will be painting a dinosaur, but let's get into all the materials you need to complete this painting first. First off, you will use a canvas, paintbrushes, paper towels, glass of water, paints in orange, black, white, yellow. I'm also going to start by covering my paintbrush in water. This is just so it's easier for me to blend all my colors together later on. After I finish covering my canvas in water, I'm going to go and start using the white paint on my palette. I'm currently using the biggest brush in the pack of paints. It is under the glaze/wash brush. I'm going to go into the center of my canvas and just paint a circle. I'm going to go pretty heavy on the amount of paint I'm using because I'm going to use it to blend it out later. After I'm done using my white paint, I'm going to keep the paint on my brush and just dip into the yellow paint. I want them to blend together, so I'm not super worried about the white and the yellow mixing together. I'm going to just put dots of white and yellow around my white circle from the beginning. I'm going to just do 5 to start off lighter since I'm going to be doing a gradient. After I put my white and yellow on the canvas, I'm going to go in with just straight yellow paint and do dots around my circles again. I'm hoping for a darker ring of yellow around my light yellow and my white. As of right now, I'm not blending them super together. It's still kind of separated by color, so I'm going to wash my brush to clean off all excess paint. Once I'm done cleaning the brush, I'm just going to dry it off so that there's not too much water running onto my canvas. I'm going to put my paintbrush straight down in the middle of my white circle. I want the white to be what's on my brush first, and then I'm just going to use counterclockwise motions around my circle, blending the white to the light yellow and then the light yellow to the dark yellow. The next thing I'm going to do is dip into the orange paint. I'm going to do dots around my yellow circle. This process took me a little bit longer because the water on my canvas had started to dry, but if you just keep your canvas nice and wet, it should blend fine. So as you can see, I'm not going too much into the yellow because I don't want too much orange to be intruding since it's going to the corners of my canvas. I will be blending the white, yellow, and darker yellow with the orange in a second, but right now I'm just worried about getting the orange on my canvas. As you can see, I'm adding a little bit of water to my brush to keep it good, and then I'm just starting with the darker yellow mixing into the orange. I'm working in rainbow type curves just to work on blending in certain areas that are a little bit choppier or drier looking. As you can see, I just keep reapplying the dark yellow paint to my orange and just keep going over and over until it's blended to my own liking. This is something that's going to be up to personal preference. You don't have to do it the same way as I, and you don't have to do it with the same colors or technique. This is going to be up to you. This is just how I decided to do it. I'm going till my canvas is completely covered in orange, yellow, and white paint. I'm making sure to get the corners of the top part of my canvas really good, but as you can see, I'm not too worried about the bottom part of my canvas because we will be covering it up later. If you want to, you could choose to stop blending near the bottom of your canvas because it will be covered with other items later. But it is important to focus near the top. So I'm just still blending to keep everything together. I'm taking the darker yellow and moving it out towards the orange to get that good gradient going. This is what it should look like afterwards. I added a little bit more white before I showed this, but this was my finished project. So I let it dry for a little bit so that the background was completely dry before I started the next step, which is extremely important because you don't want blending with the rest of the items that we're about to paint. I'm starting with a dollop of black paint and a dollop of white paint to begin a dark gray color. I'll be using this for the mountains in our foreground. I'm just going to mix it until I find a color that I like. I went for a bit of a charcoal color and it was pretty dark whenever I finished mixing. After I finished mixing my gray color, I just started making triangular type shapes near the bottom half of my canvas. This is also up to personal preference, however many mountains you want, how high you want them, and how you want them to look is completely up to you. I decided to go for 3 mountains and then I just filled them in completely with my dark gray color. And then I went in with my white and I just added a bit of highlight, working in downward strokes on my mountaintops. I wanted my highlight to be on the left side of my mountain, so that is what I focused my white paint on. So once I finished adding my highlights to my mountains, I just worked on creating a black ground over top of them. This is what our dinosaur is going to be standing on. Once I finished my ground, it was time to start my dinosaur. I moved to the filbert brush, so it is a smaller, more rounded brush. I'm going to start with just putting a dot to start the head. Super simple, just a little circular dot. Once I did that, I created a smaller dot a little to the left and down of my first dot to start creating the dinosaur's head. I started connecting those dots with just one smooth stroke from the top and the bottom. It should resemble a peanut at this point. I just filled in that shape completely. Sorry, my hand's in the way. After I'm done that, I'm just creating a long line, kind of like a question mark backwards, going from his neck, going into a rainbow near the end. And then I'm going to just create another curved line going towards the bottom. As you can see, I put in some lines to kind of show myself where I wanted my legs and the tail to be. So it's just a few straight lines near the end for where I was going to fill my black in to create legs, a stomach, and a tail. After that, I just filled in my dinosaur. At this point, I am only using my black paint and my filbert brush just to fill in the dinosaur. If you ever forget what brushes I'm using, there is a guide on the back of your paintbrush pack that you were given during supplies handout. I'm just working on flicking the tail up. I decided I didn't like that it blended in with the ground and I want it to have its own little show, so I definitely curved it up towards the sky. I have switched to a smaller, rounder brush and I'm going to be using that, dipping it in my black paint again to create my palm trees. I'm only going to show you how to do one. I'm going to start on the right side of my canvas with just a curved line going down towards the bottom part of my ground. From that line, I am going to just fill it in, making it a little bit thicker near the ground. That way it has that palm tree type shape. It should be skinnier near the top. After I move my hand, you'll be able to see that I'm putting 4 spokes coming from my original line. That is where the palm leaves are going to be. I'm switching out to a smaller brush. You can choose any of the tinier brushes. This is the one that I chose to use. I'm going to dip that in the black paint. After I do that, I'm just going to make little dash marks on each of my lines on both sides. I left it pretty light. I wasn't super worried about them being completely black. I didn't mind the look of them not having a lot of paint on my brush. I thought it made it look a little bit more natural or fluffy looking in my leaves. So I'm just going to do that for each spoke, and then we have a palm tree. So I added a bit of white detail, but unfortunately my camera stopped recording. So I just added white detailing to my palm trees and to the dinosaur and to the sky. So this is what my finished product looked like. After I was done, I was super happy with it. It is an adorable and easy painting, and don't forget to put your artist signature on the bottom right hand corner of your painting whenever you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this event, and I'm excited to see you guys again soon. Thank you!